Hi everybody, welcome back to Home Smart Buyers. Inspector Tom here. Today we're talking about brick veneers, and we're going to get into some things that the IRC specifically calls out as far as standards associated with your brick veneers, and also some of the things that it's silent on. Know that the intent of this channel is never to make you a home inspector. The intent of the channel is to make you an educated, well-informed buyer so that you can be an active participant in the process, so you can communicate effectively with your builder, and also when things start to go sideways, you have a pretty good sense of it and you can bring in a third party. So, you're busy, I'm busy, let's roll. So what in the heck is a brick veneer? Well, it's an exterior finish. And all that means is that bricks hold up more bricks. They're not a main structural component of the home. Now, the foundation extends out and there's a brick ledge for them to sit on. Bricks are attached to the main structure using brick ties. Now, masonry products are porous. So if I sat there and I hit this thing with a hose all day long, eventually water's coming out the other side. Well, water is the enemy of your home. You need it to go away. So it comes down that wall cavity and it comes out weepholes. That's it. Welcome to Bricks 101. Let's get into some details around what the IRC has to say about those things.
So you're looking at the brick ledge right now, and it should be continuously flashed all the way around. And make sure you're paying attention to the corners. They tend to get improperly done. That's why you end up with those corner pops on your foundation. Also, flashing should be above lintels. So if water gets behind that brick veneer in between the wall cavity, between the structure and the bricks, needs to drain out. That's the weepholes. Standards around weepholes is that no more than 33 inches apart, 3/16 inch diameter. They should be located directly above flashing. Now, the flashing should be at that masonry, that brick ledge, and they also should be wherever there are lintels. So you should see weepholes located above doors and windows as well.
Walk in your home and you figure out they didn't do the weephole locations right. So standard is supposed to be no greater than 33 inches, which is 3 bricks. So you walk around, you figure out, you know what, there's spots in the home where they put it every 4th brick or every 5th brick. It's not great. It's not right, but it's certainly not the end of the world. So you've identified that the weephole locations aren't correct. You've communicated to your builder. The builder comes out and says, we'll fix it. And they drill holes every 3rd location, right, or closer, and they come back and say, fix it. Know that that fix most likely won't work, and here's why. That mason stuck that brick down, and that mortar kind of came around the back. Well, by the time you go to drill a hole in that thing, there's no channel, and there's no way for the water to get to that drill hole. So it's going to look like a weephole, but it's not going to behave like a weephole. So part of what you want to do during the build-out process is really manage your long-term liabilities. And I think weepholes are a great example of that. Is it a big deal if they're 3 bricks apart or 4 bricks apart? Most likely not, but you don't know. And so managing your long-term liability is just hanging on to that communication where you've expressed those concerns about those items to your builder and whatever they say back, whether that is, hey, go pound sand, we're not doing anything, or hey, we're going to go out and drill a hole to nowhere. Just hang on to it. It's always these really small, innocuous items that you didn't think were a big deal at the time, that 5, 7 years, whatever that time horizon is, become a big deal. So you got a brick veneer wall, you got an opening, door, window, garage door. What do? You put a big chunk of metal over it. It's called a lintel. Lintels are an engineered product, which means they should be part of your build-out plan. Make sure that the ones going up match the plan. And then there's some other specifics associated with the installation of lintels. We'll cover those really quickly, but just know that weepholes should be present just like they are on the general wall area on that brick ledge.
When it comes to lintels, there's 2 main things. One, what does the original plans call for, and are they going in the right locations? And then number 2, what is the fastening schedule? How are they being attached to the home? So there's several different types of brick ties. The most common one is this corrugated style. It should be no less than 22 gauge. The placement of them, you don't want one to cover more than 2.67 square feet. Well, what does that mean? That means you don't want them located more than 32 inches apart from each other horizontally or more than 24 inches away from each other vertically. So when you've got openings greater than 16 inches, windows, doors, you want to place additional ties where they're spaced more than not 3 feet apart, but you're also within 12 inches of those openings.
So if you're walking your home for the brick tie locations that we've just communicated, the answer is you're going to find stuff. Like every time, you're going to find stuff. Most commonly, here's where I want you to look. Look up. At about 7 feet and higher is where most of the errors occur. And the answer is short contractors didn't want to get the ladder off the truck.
The IRC specifically calls out a minimum of a 1-inch air gap between the bricks, veneer, and the structural wall. Also, mortar is allowed to appear in that space.
So there are 3 things with bricks that the IRC is silent on. So number 1 is workmanship and just general cosmetic appearance. If you got nasty looking work done, it's not going to be called out in the inspection. It's not going to be called out as an IRC issue. You're going to have to bring that up to the builder on your own. Number 2, window ledges. Well, a lot of times they're perfectly flat, meaning rain hits that thing, it's not draining off, it's just kind of hanging out there. All of a sudden, this bead of caulk becomes the most important thing in the world. Now, the IRC is silent. Bricklayers Association says, hey, 15 degrees, you want water to drain away. Third is expansion joints. So the placement of the expansion joints is not covered by the IRC simply because building size variations make it too difficult for them to speak to it. Now, general rule of thumb, right, for what that's worth, general rule of thumb says you don't want a brick wall that's more than 20-25 feet long before you give it a chance for that expansion joint where those bricks heat and contract to have one of those things placed, going from the bottom course to the very top course. Thanks for watching. Thanks for your support. Like, subscribe, do that thing. Appreciate it.